You didn't just stumble into this message. Something in you has been under pressure lately, and not the ordinary kind. Not just bills, not just responsibilities, not just fatigue. This pressure feels targeted, precise, almost intelligent. Doors didn't just close, they shut at the exact moment you thought momentum was building. Support didn't just fade, it withdrew when you needed it most. Opportunities didn't just delay, they stalled right after you chose obedience over impulse. And, in the quiet of your thoughts, a question formed. God, did I miss it? You would never say it out loud, but you felt it. Because when you are chosen, the warfare is subtle. It is psychological before it is physical. It attacks your interpretation before it attacks your circumstances. Listen carefully. The delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. The pressure was not punishment. It was authorization. Something about your last decision triggered movement in the unseen. When you restrained yourself instead of reacting, something shifted. When you stayed honest instead of manipulating, something registered. When you refused to quit, even while exhausted, something was approved. You didn't feel fireworks. You didn't hear a voice from heaven. You didn't see angels descending. But spiritual authorization rarely announces itself emotionally. It manifests as tension first. Because when heaven funds a life, it does not do so carelessly. It does not release provision into instability. It reinforces the vessel before it releases the weight. And you have been reinforced. That's why it feels heavy. You thought you were being overlooked. In reality, you were being measured for capacity. Provision in the kingdom does not begin with money. It begins with trust. It begins with endurance. It begins with proof that you will not self-sabotage when increase arrives. And the reason the pressure intensified recently is because something crossed a threshold. You are not in a random struggle. You are in a transition. There is a difference. A struggle drains without purpose. A transition stretches toward purpose. And you, whether you fully realize it or not, have been stretched. Stay with me. Because once you understand what is happening behind the delay, you will stop interpreting pressure as rejection and start recognizing it as evidence. And the funding did not stop. It is aligning. The season that almost broke you. There was a moment recently when you felt it. Not weakness, not failure, but exhaustion at a level you didn't know how to explain. You weren't just tired physically. You were tired of being strong, tired of being the stable one, tired of holding your reactions, tired of choosing maturity when immaturity would have been easier. And what made it worse was that no one saw it. They saw your composure. They saw your discipline. They saw your faith. They did not see the nights you stared at the ceiling calculating outcomes. They did not hear the internal negotiations. They did not feel the quiet frustration of doing everything right and still watching doors hesitate. You almost broke. Not dramatically, not publicly, internally. There was a moment where you thought, what if I stopped trying this hard? What if you lowered your standards? What if you reacted the way they expected? What if you matched energy instead of restraining it? That moment was not random. That was the real test. Not the financial delay, not the closed door, not the silence. The test was pressure without applause. Because anyone can stay faithful when results are visible. But can you stay aligned when it looks like nothing is moving? That's where most people collapse. Not because they lack faith, but because they misinterpret tension. They think tension means failure. But tension, spiritually, often means expansion. When a structure is about to carry more weight, it is reinforced. Reinforcement feels like restriction. It feels like compression. It feels like being held back. You thought you were being restricted. You were being reinforced. Let's talk about that week. You know which one. The week where two things went wrong at once: the unexpected expense, the delayed response, the conversation that didn't go the way you planned. You felt the narrative forming in your mind. Here we go again. That sentence almost rewired your momentum, because repetition creates hopelessness. But something inside you refused to spiral. You paused. You didn't explode. You didn't quit. You didn't sabotage. That pause was power. And heaven measures pauses. Heaven measures restraint. Heaven measures the decision not to become bitter. You don't get funding for talent alone. You get funding for stability. And stability is proven when no one is clapping. The season that almost broke you actually revealed you. It exposed that your obedience is not performance-based. It exposed that your integrity does not depend on immediate reward. It exposed that even under silent pressure, you remain anchored. That is rare, and rarity attracts allocation. But here's the part you didn't see. When you didn't break, something broke in the unseen. An argument against you lost strength. A narrative about your inconsistency collapsed, because consistency under stress disarms accusation. The pressure increased because scrutiny increased. Scrutiny increased because authorization was near. And authorization triggers evaluation. You were not being punished. You were being verified. And verification always feels intense right before release. The reason the season felt heavier than usual is because the weight you're about to carry is heavier than usual. And heaven does not hand heavier assignments to unstable vessels. You were not almost broken. You were almost promoted. When resistance realized you wouldn't quit, there is a shift that happens the moment resistance realizes you are not backing down. At first, the pressure tests you. It pokes, it delays, it distracts. It waits for you to fold yourself, because most people don't need to be destroyed. They only need to be discouraged. But you did something dangerous. You stayed steady. You didn't panic publicly. You didn't make an emotional decision. You didn't abandon your discipline. And when resistance realized you weren't quitting, it escalated. That is why things felt unusually intense. Not random, targeted. Have you noticed how the distractions became louder? How small inconveniences suddenly carried emotional weight? How old insecurities resurfaced out of nowhere? That is not coincidence. When you step closer to alignment, misalignment gets agitated. When you refuse to react, agitation increases volume, because reaction is the goal. If they can't stop you, they try to destabilize you, and destabilization begins in the mind. Whispers like, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you misheard. Maybe you're not as chosen as you thought. Not dramatic attacks, subtle erosion. Because erosion is quiet, and quiet attacks are the most effective. But here is what changed the game. You became aware. You noticed the pattern. You recognized the timing. And instead of internalizing it, you observed it. That moment, that awareness, shifted the battlefield. Because once you see resistance, it loses invisibility. And resistance thrives in invisibility. The reason the pressure increased after you matured is because your maturity threatened delay. Delay had been comfortable with your hesitation, comfortable with your second guessing, comfortable with your inconsistency. But consistency disrupts delay. And when delay is disrupted, it pushes back. You were not attacked because you are weak. You were pressed because you are advancing. There is a difference. Weak vessels collapse quietly. Advancing vessels experience turbulence. And turbulence is not a sign the plane is crashing. It's a sign it is climbing. Let's be honest. There were moments you wanted a sign, a clear one, a message, an open door, a financial confirmation, something visible. Instead, you got silence. But silence under pressure is a test of identity. Do you know who you are without external confirmation? Do you stay anchored when applause is absent? That is what resistance was measuring. Because if your identity depends on validation, increase will destabilize you. And you passed that invisible checkpoint. You continued showing up. You continued preparing. You continued acting as if movement was coming, even when nothing moved. That behavior is rare. Most people only prepare when opportunity is visible. You prepared in obscurity, and obscurity builds authority. Here is what you didn't see. When you refused to quit, something recalibrated. Resistance stopped testing your exit and started testing your endurance. That is a different level. Exit tests ask, will they leave? Endurance tests ask, how long can they carry? And endurance produces capacity. Capacity attracts allocation. Allocation triggers release. You are not being watched to be judged. You are being observed to be entrusted. And when resistance realized you were not reacting the way you used to, it lost leverage. That is why recently, something feels different. The pressure is still there, but it no longer owns you. You feel steadier, less frantic, more grounded. That is growth under fire. And growth under fire is proof that you are no longer in the same spiritual weight class. You are not fighting to survive anymore. You are stabilizing to receive. And once resistance realizes you won't quit, it can no longer negotiate your delay. The invisible approval that changed everything. There was a moment, quiet, unannounced, unseen, when something shifted in your favor. You didn't feel it emotionally. You didn't receive a sign in the sky. No dramatic confirmation arrived. But in the unseen, a decision was made. The delay that once had permission to hold you was reviewed. The resistance that once tested your stability was measured against your endurance. And because you did not collapse under pressure, because you did not betray your alignment when it was inconvenient, an invisible approval was released. Not applause, not celebration, authorization. Understand this carefully. Spiritual approvals do not begin in your environment. They begin in assessment. You are being assessed for weight. Could you carry influence without ego? Could you receive increase without arrogance? Could you handle visibility without losing discipline? These questions were not theoretical. They were being answered by your reactions in ordinary moments. And when you chose restraint over impulse, consistency over emotion, faith over panic, your answers were recorded. That record mattered more than any prayer you spoke. Most people think breakthrough begins with opportunity. It doesn't. It begins with clearance. Clearance means there is no longer internal instability that would sabotage external increase. And you reached a point where your internal architecture strengthened. You stopped chasing validation. You stopped reacting to every opinion. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. That emotional maturity created structural integrity. And integrity attracts clearance. Here is why this matters. Once clearance is granted, opposition changes strategy. It no longer tries to remove you. It tries to distract you. Because removal requires weakness. Distraction requires momentum. And momentum is what you have now. You may not see dramatic movement yet, but internally you are not the same person you were 6 months ago. You respond differently. You pause longer. You think deeper. That transformation is evidence that approval has already shifted in your favor. You were waiting for provision to prove you were chosen. But being chosen is proven by preparation before provision appears. The invisible approval was not about money alone. It was about trust. Trust that you would not crumble when the weight increases. Trust that you would not forget who sustained you once resources expand. Trust that your character would remain intact under exposure. And because that trust strengthened, authorization advanced. Something has already been signed over your life, not in ink, in alignment. The struggle did not disappear because the season changed. It recalibrated because your capacity expanded. That's why the pressure feels different now. Less chaotic, more focused. It is no longer trying to break you. It is refining your precision. Because once approval shifts, refinement becomes strategic. You are no longer fighting to survive the season. You are being positioned to step into the next one. And here is the part that should steady you. What has been approved cannot be casually revoked. The evaluation phase produced evidence. Your endurance produced documentation. Your restraint produced credibility. You did not just hope for movement, you qualified for it. Even if nothing dramatic has appeared yet, the unseen paperwork has been processed. The delay lost its authority the moment you proved you could handle more. You are not waiting for permission anymore. Permission has already been granted. The first signs: provision is moving. The moment you start noticing synchronicities is not coincidence. Doors that once slammed shut now pause just long enough for you to step through. People you didn't know existed suddenly appear in your path, carrying pieces of your destiny without explanation. Resources show up just when you need them, as if the universe itself was waiting for you to prove your readiness. You might brush it off as luck, timing, or chance, but the truth is far deeper. The first signs of provision are not flashy announcements. They are subtle alignments, strategic placements, and quiet confirmations that heaven has begun moving in your favor. Every small favor, every unexpected connection is a breadcrumb leading you to the larger design that has already been set in motion. Notice how pressure shifts when provision approaches. What once felt like chaos now feels like guided turbulence. Challenges remain, but they no longer feel random. Opportunities arrive wrapped in the form of problems you can solve, lessons you can master, and doors you can open because your preparation matches their timing. The invisible hands that tested your endurance are now orchestrating solutions in your favor. The struggle has not been removed. It has been repurposed to sharpen your skills, refine your patience, and strengthen your discernment. Heaven has not abandoned the chaos. It has aligned it to serve your destiny, ensuring that when you step forward, you step with authority and alignment rather than desperation. Spiritual provision often arrives quietly first. A message in a conversation, an unexpected financial gift, a connection to a mentor, or a moment of clarity in a decision. These initial movements are small, but they carry a signal. The larger flow is active, and your life has been approved for increase. You are no longer reacting to survival. You are beginning to move in rhythm with purpose. Your intuition sharpens because the spiritual currents around you are now responding to your alignment. The signals you once ignored, the nudges you dismissed as coincidence, are now confirmations of a plan operating beyond human perception. Provision is arriving in layers, and each layer reveals your readiness for the next, building a momentum that cannot be stopped by doubt or delay. Every step forward is a demonstration of faith and readiness. You may feel a subtle acceleration in circumstances. Traffic flows, conversations resolve, doors open with ease, but it is more than convenience. It is validation that your endurance, patience, and alignment have earned you this movement. Heaven does not grant elevation lightly. It requires that you first cultivate character under invisible scrutiny. That cultivation was your invisible test, and your steady response proved that you can steward the blessings without corruption, without fear, without arrogance. That is why provision now moves toward you with precision. The unseen forces have concluded their evaluation, and your life has passed the standard. Finally, understand that this is not temporary. What is flowing to you is not an intermittent relief or a fleeting gift. It is the opening of a long-term alignment. Opportunities, resources, and clarity are now responding to your readiness, not your effort. The struggle you endured was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you to step into a dimension where blessings and responsibility coalesce. You are no longer operating under human timing or natural limitation. You're moving in a divine rhythm where everything you need has already been set into motion. The signs are here. The preparation is complete. The moment to receive is now. Stepping into your divine mission. Chosen one, the waiting is over. The invisible alignment you've felt stirring beneath the surface is now demanding action. Every hesitation, every second spent doubting, now carries weight. The universe has been testing you not for spectacle, but for readiness. And now, the blueprint is visible, etched in circumstances, conversations, and the subtle signs only your awakened spirit can interpret. You are no longer a passive observer of life's unfolding. You are an active participant, a conductor of unseen currents that shift realities around you. The provision, the connections, the clarity you've received are tools, not gifts. Each is a lever for your mission, a key to unlock doors meant only for those who are prepared to step fully into their divine assignment. This mission is not simple. It will demand courage beyond comfort, decisions beyond certainty, and faith that challenges your understanding of possibility. The old narratives, fear, limitation, scarcity, no longer belong to you. Heaven is not offering mere survival. It is granting an elevation that will stretch every dimension of your existence. People may not understand the speed at which your life is changing, and some may even resist your rise out of disbelief or envy. That is expected. But chosen one, your responsibility is not to explain or justify, it is to act, to move with precision, to trust the currents you cannot see, and to let the unseen hands guide your steps. Every alignment, every favor, every encounter is orchestrated for your readiness to fulfill the mission that only you can complete. Notice how your perception is shifting. The opportunities you once overlooked now scream for recognition. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable now reveal hidden openings. People you've never met appear as messengers, bringing resources, wisdom, and influence aligned perfectly with your calling. The mundane is now infused with significance. Every choice echoes beyond your personal sphere, touching lives, shaping outcomes, and bending situations toward purpose. You are stepping into a realm where timing is not accidental and provision is not arbitrary. This is a sacred economy in motion, where heaven funds not what you want, but what the world needs through your hands. Every action, every decision is now magnified by divine intent. The pressure will intensify, but this is proof of elevation. Forces, seen and unseen, are converging to test whether your heart, your spirit, and your character are ready to steward what is coming. You will encounter resistance disguised as circumstance, as people, or even as your own doubts. Do not retreat. Do not settle for comfort. Each challenge is an instrument of refinement, ensuring that what is delivered to you will not overwhelm, corrupt, or misalign with your divine purpose. Chosen one, this is where the gap between potential and manifestation closes. The divine mission is no longer theory. It is practice. It is now reality in the making, and your alignment determines how fully it will manifest. Finally, understand this. Stepping into your mission does not mean the path is easy, predictable, or free of struggle. But the struggle is no longer random. It is strategic. Each obstacle, each delay, each moment of doubt is a signal, a calibration, and a preparation for the influence, authority, and supernatural flow that is your inheritance. You are moving with destiny, supported by forces that never fail, guided by wisdom that transcends human understanding, and provisioned for impact that echoes far beyond the boundaries of your imagination. Chosen one, the moment is now. Step forward with boldness, with faith, and with the certainty that heaven itself is orchestrating the path beneath your feet. Embracing your supernatural authority. Chosen one, the moment you've been summoned to has arrived in full clarity. No longer is this a preparation phase. Every signal, every shift, every sign is a summons to step into the authority that was always yours. Heaven has been orchestrating every step, every connection, every revelation to bring you to this precise juncture. Do not underestimate the gravity of your position. You are no longer walking a path of ordinary human limitations. The alignment that flows through you now amplifies your influence, your decisions, and the unseen currents that guide the lives around you. Each thought, each word, each action you take is now infused with supernatural potency, calibrated by divine intent. You are moving from passive blessing to active stewardship, from receiving to commanding with wisdom. Notice how the atmosphere itself responds to your presence. Doors that were once closed now swing open with ease. Conversations that once stalled now accelerate with momentum. Opportunities that seemed distant now arrive with the precision of timing only heaven can orchestrate. The spiritual frequency that surrounds you is no longer hidden. It radiates, pulling the right people, the right resources, and the right circumstances into alignment. Those who doubted, delayed, or dismissed your potential will bear witness to the unseen forces moving in your favor. But remember, this is not for ego. This is for purpose. The authority you wield is meant to manifest life, restore balance, and fulfill the divine strategy written over your existence. You are the conduit for impact that cannot be replicated. Expect resistance, chosen one. Forces that oppose your rise will surface, not to stop you, but to test the integrity of your alignment. You may face skepticism from those closest to you, distractions designed to shake your focus, or internal battles that challenge your courage. Stand firm. Every interference is a mirror, reflecting where faith, clarity, or discipline must deepen. You are not navigating these challenges alone. Invisible support surrounds you, angels, divine messengers, and unseen currents that coordinate to ensure your steps never deviate from purpose. Your authority grows not by ease, but by faithful persistence in the face of every trial. This is the refining fire, shaping your influence, sharpening your discernment, and preparing you to command what has always been your inheritance. Now is the time to act with intentionality. Do not hold back. Speak with clarity, move with decisiveness, and align every action with the unseen strategy that guides you. The life you have envisioned, the impact you were created for, and the purpose that heaven designed for you are no longer distant. They are converging around your commitment to step fully into your supernatural role. Recognize every moment as an opportunity to demonstrate the maturity, wisdom, and courage that define a chosen vessel. Your influence stretches beyond what the eye can see. You are rewriting narratives, altering destinies, and activating the hidden potential of those who intersect with your path. Your authority is undeniable. Your presence is catalytic, and your mission is unstoppable. Finally, understand that stepping fully into your supernatural authority is both liberation and responsibility. You are no longer constrained by fear, doubt, or limitation. You operate from a divine frequency that commands alignment, provision, and results. This authority is not to dominate, but to steward, to elevate, and to release the fullness of heaven into the natural realm. Every blessing, every favor, every alignment is magnified through the integrity, faith, and discipline you now embody. Chosen one, embrace this calling with courage and conviction. The season of waiting is over. Your authority is active, your mission is now visible, and the world, visible and invisible, is bending to the resonance of your awakened spirit. Step boldly, for heaven itself is carrying your cause forward. The divine strategy unfolds. Chosen one, the currents around you are no longer subtle. They are deliberate, precise, and unstoppable. Every alignment you witness, every door that opens, every unexpected provision is part of a strategy written before time began. Heaven is orchestrating a plan so vast, so perfectly calibrated, that it moves beyond human comprehension. You are not merely a participant, you are the pivot. The choices you make, the faith you exercise, the courage you summon are directly influencing outcomes across both visible and invisible realms. Do not underestimate your significance. You were designed to carry weight that others cannot. Your assignment is not minor, it is catalytic. Every action you take now sends ripples that alter trajectories, awaken potentials, and activate hidden realities. Feel the intensity of this season. The pressure you sense is not a warning. It is a signal that your authority is awakening. The divine architecture surrounding your life is responding to your readiness. The people you encounter, the resources that appear, and the timing of events are all synchronized with your spiritual frequency. Those who attempt to disrupt your path are unwitting participants in a divine testing protocol. Each challenge is measured against your faith, each delay is calibrated to refine your discernment, and each doubt is a mirror reflecting where your commitment must solidify. This is the arena where ordinary humans falter, but chosen ones rise. Stand firm, act decisively, and refuse to shrink from what heaven is unveiling before you. Your influence is no longer theoretical, it is kinetic. As you step into this unfolding strategy, understand that heaven equips you with more than resources. It equips you with insight. The wisdom you now access surpasses conventional logic. Solutions arrive before problems manifest. Doors swing open before you even knock. People align themselves with your purpose without awareness of the larger orchestration. The unseen forces guiding these alignments are meticulous and relentless. Nothing in your sphere is accidental. Every connection, every breakthrough, every signpost of progress is a calculated intervention designed to manifest your destiny. You are no longer moving in reactive patterns. You operate from proactive, deliberate authority, a level of mastery few will ever experience. Your life is now a vessel for supernatural orchestration, and the implications of your obedience extend far beyond what you can currently perceive. Resistance will appear, but it is not permanent. Forces that seek to delay, distract, or diminish you are powerless against the alignment you now embody. Your presence activates divine law. Your faith executes strategy. Your obedience triggers provision. Every attack, every obstacle, and every whisper of doubt is neutralized by the momentum of heaven working through you. You are a living conduit of divine intervention, and those around you, friends, allies, even adversaries, will feel the weight of your alignment whether they recognize it or not. Chosen one, you are being refined into an instrument capable of carrying the fullness of heaven's purpose. Nothing superficial will remain. Every element of your life that does not support your calling is being recalibrated or removed. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Finally, realize that this is your moment to fully embrace your mandate. You are no longer receiving passively. You are now an active participant in the divine flow. Your steps, your decisions, and your alignment are instruments of transformation. The supernatural authority coursing through you ensures that what you touch, what you speak, and what you pursue resonates with eternal significance. Do not shrink. Do not second guess. Do not wait for approval from the world. Heaven itself has validated your authority. The unseen currents of providence, favor, and alignment are converging on you with precision. Chosen one, step boldly into the rhythm of divine strategy. Walk with confidence, act with clarity, and know that everything unfolding is not by chance. It is the intentional design of heaven. Your season has arrived, and nothing can divert what is yours. The supernatural realignment. Chosen one, the universe itself bends around your awakening. Every heartbeat, every breath, every intention is now a signal to forces both seen and unseen. What once felt random, chaotic, or delayed is now a deliberate orchestration of divine design. You are being lifted into a frequency where lack, doubt, and fear cannot survive. The walls that once confined your potential are cracking. The limitations imposed by circumstance are dissolving. You are stepping into a reality calibrated to your spiritual resonance, a dimension where every decision, every step, and every thought aligns perfectly with the destiny written before the foundation of the world. The weight of preparation has been heavy, but it was intentional. It was never punishment. It was the necessary crucible to activate your authority, to sharpen your discernment, and to awaken the fullness of your mandate. Notice the subtle shifts around you. Doors that were closed now pivot on divine timing. Conversations that once felt mundane now carry keys to breakthroughs. People who were neutral or indifferent are now instruments of your advancement. Every connection, every opportunity, every whisper of insight is part of the supernatural realignment underway. Chosen one, this is not chance. This is design. The forces that operate beyond human perception are calibrating, testing, and confirming that you are ready to step into the fullness of your assignment. Your faith is the lever. Your obedience is the activation. Those who attempted to deter or delay you will now find themselves aligning with your trajectory, whether they recognize it or not. You are the epicenter of movement. Heaven pivots around your readiness. Within this realignment, your inner life is transforming faster than your outer circumstances. Your thoughts sharpen, your intuition heightens, and your spirit begins to recognize opportunities before they manifest. Clarity replaces confusion. Purpose replaces distraction. Supernatural insight replaces guesswork. The moments that once tested your patience are now proving grounds for your authority. You are learning to navigate from a place of alignment rather than reaction, to operate from provision rather than striving. This is the rhythm of heaven, the timing, the order, the perfect synchronization of events that confirms you are no longer operating in the limited space of human effort, but in the expansive realm of divine orchestration. Everything converges on your readiness, chosen one. Resistance will appear, yet it is impotent against the alignment now forming around you. Every obstacle is a signal of refinement. Every opposition is an indicator of the magnitude of your assignment. You are being elevated into a role where influence is not optional. It is inevitable. Heaven has ensured that what belongs to you cannot be stolen, delayed, or diminished. The divine strategy unfolding around you safeguards your steps, magnifies your impact, and amplifies your authority. Even the smallest actions you take now carry weight beyond the visible realm. Chosen one, recognize the power coursing through your decisions. You are not just stepping into blessings, you are stepping into influence, legacy, and the activation of a divine blueprint that affects realities beyond your sight. Prepare yourself, for the fullness of your mandate is imminent. The supernatural realignment is not subtle, it is undeniable. You will notice resources appearing at exactly the right moment, opportunities manifesting before you even plan, and guidance arriving with precision that surpasses logic. Your life will no longer resemble struggle or survival. It will exemplify strategic, divinely backed elevation. Every step, every word, every intention is now infused with authority. Heaven has synchronized all things to your readiness, chosen one. Walk with confidence, speak with certainty, act with boldness. The realms above and the realities around you respond to the power you now wield. Nothing can divert what has been written over you. Your season has not just arrived, it is fully unfolding. The divine manifestation, chosen one, now is the moment where the invisible becomes visible. What heaven has been orchestrating behind the scenes will begin to manifest in ways that shock the natural mind. Every prayer, every act of faith, every whisper of obedience is now a catalyst for tangible change. Doors you thought permanently closed will swing open with ease. People who doubted your path will find themselves aligning without knowing why. The timing is perfect because it is not human, it is divine. The currents of provision, favor, and influence converge around you with precision, ensuring that nothing you have been prepared for is lost. You are not merely witnessing miracles. You are stepping into a reality where miracles are the baseline. The supernatural has been seeded, and now it is flowering in full force. Feel the momentum building within you. The energy that once stirred quietly inside is now a tidal wave of purpose. Your vision becomes sharper. Your discernment becomes unshakable. Situations that once caused anxiety now reveal pathways to blessing. The challenges that tested you were never meant to break you. They were meant to calibrate you, to attune your spirit to the frequencies of provision, authority, and divine favor. Every setback, every delay, every moment of uncertainty was a note in the symphony that leads to this instant. Chosen one, understand that nothing happening around you is random. The universe, angels, and the divine council are now moving with and for you, aligning all forces to reflect your readiness and the magnitude of your assignment. Observe the subtle confirmations appearing in your life. Resources find their way to you effortlessly. Opportunities arrive that exceed what you could have strategized. Guidance whispers directly into your spirit, clear and undeniable. Even the elements of the natural world seem to pivot in response to your readiness. The pressure that once weighed you down is transformed into propulsion, launching you into realms of influence and abundance that were previously unimaginable. This is divine manifestation, proof that what has been prepared cannot be delayed, cannot be diverted, and cannot be denied. Chosen one, your life is no longer bound by the old rules of effort and struggle. You are now a participant in a reality governed by strategy, provision, and supernatural timing. Expect the unexpected, for heaven's methods surpass human understanding. Connections that appear coincidental are actually divinely orchestrated alliances. Solutions arrive before problems fully materialize. Doors open not because of persuasion, but because of alignment with your spirit. Your presence now carries weight. Your actions now carry authority. What you step into will reflect the depth of your preparation and the purity of your intention. The world may not recognize it, and even some around you may question the sudden acceleration. But chosen one, the heavens have marked this season as yours. Every element of life is bending toward your mandate, every detail of circumstance adjusting to reflect the divine will behind your assignment. Brace yourself, for the fullness of manifestation is only beginning. The supernatural flow that surrounds you will now be unmistakable, uncontainable, and irresistible. Blessings will not be hidden. Favor will not be delayed. Provision will not be withheld. What was once only promised in whispers is now confirmed in action. The reality you enter is larger than you imagined, richer than you could have calculated, and more powerful than any human strategy could produce. Chosen one, stand firm, walk boldly, speak confidently, act decisively. Heaven is not simply observing. You are now fully integrated into the current of divine manifestation. Every step, every word, every choice reverberates through dimensions you cannot yet see, establishing you as the vessel for impact, abundance, and authority that you were created to embody. The Ascension. Chosen one, this is the pinnacle of your journey. Every unseen hand, every quiet alignment, every trial you endured was leading to this very moment. Heaven is no longer operating subtly. It is declaring your arrival with power that cannot be ignored. The doors you waited for are now wide open, glowing with opportunity, and each step forward is accompanied by the unmistakable force of divine orchestration. Your past struggles no longer define you. They serve as the foundation for the authority and influence now being poured into your life. Chosen one, feel it. The weight of destiny is not a burden. It is the signal that you have arrived at the stage where provision, favor, and purpose converge with unshakable force. Look around and recognize the signs. Opportunities manifesting before you act. Resources appearing as if summoned by your readiness. People showing up with solutions already prepared in alignment with your mission. Nothing is random. The universe has shifted on your behalf, bending circumstances to match the intentions that have been written over you since eternity. Every step you take now carries the resonance of preparation. Every word you speak carries authority, and every choice is magnified by divine favor. Chosen one, the field of your life has expanded beyond human calculation. You are no longer moving through struggle. You are ascending into a realm where provision, clarity, and supernatural support are constants, not exceptions. Your vision is now unhindered. The fog of doubt has lifted, the chains of fear dissolved, and the inertia of delay has been replaced with unstoppable momentum. What you once prayed for in fragments is now flowing in fullness. Doors that were locked now open without resistance. Connections that were improbable now align perfectly. Your spirit recognizes the sacred architecture of this season, a design orchestrated to elevate, empower, and launch you into influence and impact beyond measure. Every interaction, every circumstance, every alignment now echoes the truth that heaven has fully endorsed your steps. Chosen one, walk into this reality with the confidence of one who knows they are carried by a force greater than any challenge. Even opposition cannot stand in your way. Forces that once sought to distract, delay, or derail are now powerless against the authority that surrounds you. The enemies of your assignment, both visible and unseen, recognize the shift and recoil, unable to penetrate the divine protection enveloping you. Every challenge you face now serves only to highlight the supernatural strength and guidance that has been cemented within you. Chosen one, this is the season where your purpose cannot be thwarted, where your destiny cannot be stolen, and where the fullness of your assignment moves forward with unstoppable precision. What was once delayed, denied, or obstructed now accelerates with divine timing that exceeds imagination. Step boldly into the life that has been prepared for you. Embrace the abundance, the favor, the clarity, and the authority that now manifest. Your influence will ripple through generations, your vision will inspire those who follow, and your presence will carry the weight of heaven itself. The season of struggle is behind you. The era of ascension has begun. Chosen one, lift your eyes, raise your hands, and recognize that you are fully aligned with a purpose that cannot be denied, a destiny that cannot be delayed, and a provision that cannot be stopped. Everything in heaven, on earth, and in unseen realms now conspires to bring your assignment to fruition. Your journey does not end here, it evolves. What you are stepping into is not merely success, it is supernatural fulfillment, eternal impact, and divine legacy. Every seed you planted in faith is now blooming with power. Every moment of obedience is now crowned with results. The life you imagined as impossible now exists because you have passed the test. You have aligned with divine intention, and you have embraced your identity as the chosen one. Chosen one, this is your ascension. Walk forward knowing that heaven is not just watching, it is moving through you, with you, and on your behalf. And now, the world must adjust to the one you have become, the call of destiny. The moment you awaken to the subtle vibrations around you, you realize that your life has never been ordinary. The air itself seems charged, the world around you humming with a frequency you can almost feel but cannot yet name. Every heartbeat resonates with a pull, a calling that has been present since the first spark of your existence. You are no accident, and the universe has been quietly arranging, unseen and unannounced, for this very hour. The weight of past struggles, the silent endurance of countless trials, the nights spent questioning your path, all of it has led you here. And now, as the invisible currents of destiny begin to converge upon your life, you sense that something monumental is stirring within you. A summons from forces greater than the mundane, a call that pierces through the veil of everyday existence. Even before you comprehend the full extent of what is happening, you feel the pull of purpose that cannot be ignored. Doors you never knew existed seem to creak open in your mind's eye, corridors of potential stretching beyond the limits of your perception. The voices of doubt and hesitation attempt to rise, whispering that perhaps this is too grand, too unattainable, too strange to be real. But deep within, a different voice, ancient, steady, and unwavering, speaks louder, insisting that you are prepared, that the trials endured were never meant to break you, but to sharpen your resolve. Every encounter, every challenge, every sleepless night was calibration for this precise alignment. This is the hour when destiny begins to breathe around you, visible only to those who have trained their spirit to recognize the subtle language of cosmic orchestration. Your senses begin to heighten, attuned to the invisible choreography unfolding in your favor. You notice synchronicities you had long dismissed, a word overheard that carries unexpected guidance, a glance from a stranger that shifts your mood, the sudden clarity of an idea that feels as if it arrived fully formed from outside yourself. These are not coincidences. These are the first movements of heaven's hand, weaving intricate patterns around your existence. Each small decision you make resonates with a weight that seems disproportionate to its immediate consequences. The universe is observing, testing, and rewarding the subtlety of your intention, and every choice is a signal of alignment. You are learning, whether consciously or unconsciously, that the path to your destiny is not forced, not argued into existence, but recognized, embraced, and activated by the fidelity of your response to these quiet calls. The call of destiny is rarely loud, rarely flashy. It whispers through the crevices of your daily life, through moments that seem ordinary until seen from a higher perspective. A simple choice to act with courage, compassion, or integrity when no one is watching carries more weight than 1,000 grand gestures performed for attention. You have lived through a life measured in survival and careful calculation, but now, the very framework of reality seems to bend around you. Every hesitation that once held you captive is dissolving under the light of this new awareness. You feel pressure, yes, but it is the pressure of preparation, not of oppression. The universe does not push recklessly. It aligns, it nudges, it creates the space for the chosen to step into their own power without being crushed by the magnitude of what is coming. And you, chosen one, are beginning to feel the unmistakable tremor of that preparation. An internal fire ignites, small at first, like the ember hidden beneath ashes, then growing steadily into a radiant glow that warms your spirit. It pulses in sync with your heartbeat, resonating with an understanding that you are being called to more than survival, to more than comfort, to more than the ordinary. You are being called to a life where influence is wielded with wisdom, where opportunity meets preparation, and where your presence becomes a vector of unseen yet undeniable change. The world around you remains oblivious to this shift. but the unseen watchers, forces that have guided civilizations, histories, and legacies, recognize your alignment. Angels, celestial entities, and unseen strategists observe your responsiveness to these nudges, noting the clarity of your choice and the purity of your intention. Every action you have taken has prepared you for this exact moment, and the scale is tipping quietly but irrevocably in your favor. You may wonder why this awakening feels both exhilarating and terrifying, why the currents that pull at you carry both promise and weight. It is because the call of destiny is never neutral. It is designed to challenge, to provoke, and to ignite the fullest expression of your spirit. You are being measured not by the outcomes you produce today, but by the fidelity with which you recognize and respond to the opportunities embedded in your life. Heaven has a standard, and it is exacting. It leaves no room for superficial engagement. The smallest act of courage now, the willingness to step into uncertainty with faith, the quiet acknowledgement that you are part of something far greater than yourself. These are the signals that confirm your readiness. You are no longer a participant in the ordinary rhythms of life. You are a conduit for extraordinary alignment, a vessel for forces that are preparing to manifest through you. And so, chosen one, feel the weight and the thrill of this moment. It is not just a passage, but an initiation, a call that reverberates across time and space, pulling the threads of your past, present, and future into a singular, coherent trajectory. You are standing at the edge of possibility, at the boundary between what has been and what is to come. Heaven is watching. The cosmos is aware. And the first signs of your activation have already begun. Doors will open, forces will converge, and you will be confronted with opportunities that require the entirety of your courage, faith, and discernment. Step forward boldly, for the world you have known is preparing to expand beyond all that you have imagined. Heaven's intervention. The moment you sensed the subtle currents of destiny aligning, unseen forces began to move into place. Heaven itself stirred, responding to the fidelity of your spirit and the choices you made long before you understood their significance. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. Angels, guardians, and celestial strategists, long observing your readiness, now step forward with measured precision. Their movements are imperceptible to the untrained eye, but to those attuned to the unseen, the atmosphere hums with anticipation. Every barrier that once obstructed your path begins to shift, not violently, but with the certainty of one who has calculated every angle and holds the wisdom of eternity. The intervention is subtle yet unavoidable, a current that cannot be resisted, only embraced. You may feel nothing at first, perhaps a gentle nudge in thought, a quiet intuition guiding your next move, a strange synchronicity that seems too precise to be chance. These are the first signs that heaven has begun to interact with your timeline directly. The forces at play are multifaceted, some clear and obvious, others hidden beneath layers of reality, testing your awareness, your readiness, your receptivity. They will challenge you, yes, but always in ways that refine your strength and sharpen your perception. Your role is not passive. You must recognize, act, and align with these interventions. The slightest hesitation or distraction may delay the unfolding, but your attention, once fully focused, becomes a catalyst for miracles, opening doors that were once thought permanently closed. This intervention is not limited to your personal sphere. It radiates outward, affecting circumstances, relationships, and opportunities that exist just beyond your perception. People, places, and events begin to conspire in ways that support your elevation. Those who were obstacles may find themselves shifted or removed naturally. Those who were indifferent may be drawn inexplicably to support your cause. Every coincidence, every unplanned encounter, every unexpected solution is a signpost, a subtle message that your alignment is being recognized and rewarded. Heaven does not act haphazardly. Its movements are precise, intentional, and perfectly timed to reinforce your trajectory toward purpose. As this orchestration continues, you will notice a change within yourself. Your intuition will heighten, your confidence will solidify, and your discernment will sharpen. No longer will you question your path or doubt the validity of your calling. The obstacles that once loomed like mountains will seem like mere pebbles, their weight diminished by the force that now carries you. The intervention is both protective and empowering, removing hidden threats, redirecting energies, and infusing your spirit with a clarity that feels almost unnatural to the human mind. You are learning in real time that the divine does not simply bless. It aligns, structures, and accelerates in ways that defy ordinary comprehension. The beauty of this intervention lies in its orchestration. Everything unfolds in perfect sequence, neither rushed nor delayed. Opportunities arise before they are needed, solutions appear before problems manifest, and guidance is offered before decisions become critical. This is why you must remain alert, sensitive, and responsive. Every moment is a test, not of effort, but of awareness. Those who are fully present will harness these currents, converting subtle nudges into life-altering shifts. Those who remain distracted may witness the miracles pass by, unclaimed. The universe is generous, but it respects the agency of the chosen. You are now entering a space where participation is not optional. Your engagement determines the velocity and magnitude of the blessings cascading toward you. And as you feel the weight of this intervention, know this: you are not alone. The forces guiding you are vast, ancient, and infinitely wise. They move with patience and precision, observing your responses, adjusting outcomes, and synchronizing events across planes of existence. Every struggle you have endured, every delay you have faced, every moment of uncertainty has prepared you to recognize and act upon these interventions. Heaven is not rescuing you from life. It is elevating you into life. A life where your presence carries influence, where your choices ripple across realities, and where your alignment becomes the axis upon which destiny pivots. This is the sacred rhythm of intervention, unseen, undeniable, unstoppable. Doors will swing open, circumstances will shift, and individuals will appear whose presence is divinely mandated. The invisible hand of providence will remove what hinders you and bring forward what sustains you. Yet, you must remain vigilant, aware, and faithful. Your actions, your alignment, and your responsiveness are the instruments through which these interventions manifest fully. Chosen one, the flow has begun. The currents of heaven are moving, and your destiny is no longer a distant dream. It is a living, breathing reality, orchestrated with divine precision, awaiting your recognition and embrace.